Yeah, I have a
Let's start.
retreat to go to.
Good time to start.
Yeah.
Hello, everybody. I'm Lisa King with the Osher program, and we're going to handle Q&A this way. Narain will do his presentation, and if everybody can raise their hand, because we've got a group online as well as in person. So if you could use your raise hand function on Zoom, that would be great. And here in the classroom, if you want to just raise your hand, that way we can facilitate the question and answer period in a reasonable way. For everybody that's here in person, if you haven't been here, the restrooms are down the hallway to the left. And other than that, I want to thank Narain for being here. And I'm going to have Jim Wilson, a personal fan, introduce Narain. Jim?
I didn't tell when Lisa emailed me this morning and asked me to do the introduction. I neglected to tell her that I have about a 30-minute presentation. But I am going to begin because I know very little about artificial intelligence. I'm trying to learn more, which is, I guess, the reason we're all here. But I do have an app on my iPad here, and I asked AI to write a poem inviting people to Narain's talk. And I'm not going to read the whole thing to you, but it was amazing. I put in just instruction. Please write a poem about my friend Narain's talk on artificial intelligence on November 17th. And instantly, and within 30 seconds, I got a 10-stanza.
Oh my gosh.
I'm only going to read you 2 stanzas, but it begins. The title of it is "Gather to Behold Wisdom Take Flight." And the first begins, "Gather near, seekers of wisdom and light, for a remarkable journey awaits our sight. On the eve of November's sweet embrace, we invite you to a lecture, a sacred space." And it goes on for 8 more stanzas and then concludes, "The venue awaits with anticipation and cheer to witness the brilliance that soon shall appear. Join us on this eve of intellectual delight as we gather to behold Narain's wisdom take flight." So this is pretty amazing.
Yeah.
Well, and all the things it said were true. My friendship with Narain goes back about 10 or so years. We met on the golf course, and I think we were probably both singles and ended up being paired together and got to know each other and enjoyed each other's company. And joined some others, and sort of a group of us got to play golf. And I should say that Narain is the most boring person to play golf with. Now, most of the people think, what an insult. I'm supposed to say, honor him. He's boring because every shot goes straight down the fairway. And, we sort of joke, he'll hit a drive straight down the fairway. Someone in our group will say, boring. But that's, but you may have had this happen before. You meet someone, you sort of get to know them, but you don't really, quite a while, really get to know them. So Narain and I would play golf. We talk about all the things that guys talk about. And, but, he, I could tell, was very smart and always was periodically emailing me interesting articles about democracy and about freedom and about his native country, India. And as I got to know him, I realized that he's more than just a golf buddy, that he is a real scholar. He's taught for over 30 years at Norwich University in communications. I guess the official title is media law and ethics. His specialty is really the First Amendment. And he's written numerous articles and books about the First Amendment, about the digital, what he calls digital freedom, about the role of TV. And then recently, a couple of years ago, they said, what are you doing in your spare time? He said, I'm writing a book about the history of India. Just something that someone does in their spare time. So as soon as it came out, I bought a copy of the book. It's not a little book like this. It's a book like this about the recent history of India. So he is a real Renaissance man, a wonderful friend, a wonderful person to play golf with and just have conversations with, and a real scholar about communications, the digital world, and as well as history of India. So introduce my friend, and I looking forward to trying to figure out what this AI stuff is all about.
Thank you. I like what you said about me. And hi, everyone. I feel inspired and energized by your presence. Osher community has created a wonderful group of people here and created social bonds. We need social bonds of people like us. It's a lonely world, especially when you think about the social media and artificial intelligence. We need to bond together. So bonding is important for good health and mental health and companionship. Human beings want to be together. So Osher, according to me, has played a very big role in building a vibrant community. So we are very fortunate that we have some institution like this. So I'm an explorer more than a scholar, somewhat of an intellectual vagabond. And I haven't lost that sense of wonder that brought me to America long ago. I am fascinated with systems, dynamic systems, complex systems, evolving systems, like the USA. Now, USA most of us think about Washington, D.C. And I think it is a system of 50 states, autonomous, sovereign. And then, of course, we have large corporations, global corporations. We have Silicon Valley, we have Wall Street, we have big universities. These systems work together. And what we call as American, please come. And what we call as American consciousness, the idea of America emerges from this combination, this interacting system of 50 states, corporation, Silicon Valley, universities, and other things. So it is not something that we have concocted. It is an emergence. This is the essence of understanding system. So my quest had been as to what role does freedom play in this system? In the sense that whether self-renewal can take place without freedom. So freedom, of course, as you know, cannot exist without boundaries, fluid boundaries. Freedom needs walls, otherwise there'll be chaos. So a kind of structure that is provided by the Bill of Rights, or the First Amendment. So here is my take on America. This is how I look at America. Instead of declining, I'm speaking slowly because I have some accent, so you understand. So instead of declining, as some historians and political commentators have been drumbeating for a long time, I believe America has been evolving and renewing itself. So what is the source of this energy? Freedom triangulated with the marketplace and inflow of brain power, this triangle I said. So freedom, open marketplace, and inflow of brain power through migration. If you take away any of these three factors, America may begin to decline. So all the three factors are important, and this is the system. So look at the rise of Silicon Valley during the last 3 decades. Innovators, venture capitalists have built thousands of high-tech companies, such as Microsoft, Apple, Google, Amazon. SpaceX, and now generative AI. American companies have ushered in the information age and transformed the world, sovereign nation into one digital global. Long ago, when I came here, people were saying, Japan is rising, America is declining. What happened? Now, we have been saying the same thing about China also. So top university in the USA, just think, top university in the USA, and there are many. Some of the best universities in the world are in the US. They attract global talent. And not only that, but these people then start up companies here because we have a very, very encouraging startup system in the USA. The marketplace. American dream is different from different. These people come here to not only expand their base, knowledge base, technological base, but also make money. So, as I said, freedom is not a constant, it is a variable. Every society has a set of core values which characterize and give the society a particular shape. In the case of USA, it is the First Amendment which gives the society particular shape. So we have to keep in mind that the pendulum of freedom, the pendulum of freedom, of course, moves to and fro depending upon how much fear we have. When society becomes more fearful, American society, then freedom shrinks. When we are less afraid, then freedom increases. As you can see throughout history, freedom has never been constant. So this freedom has given us, the First Amendment has given us a kind of distinctive character. This distinctive character consists of an environment of randomness, is large zone for error making and creative fearlessness, raising the possibility for chance discoveries. There is no end game or finality in an open system. It is a system which is in a constant state of equilibrium, disequilibrium. Always change taking place, turbulence, harmony, as we saw on January the 6th, or when Nixon, Watergate was taking place, or before that, Civil War, the Civil War. There has never been peace in America. We have been always struggling and growing and growing. Out of this system of freedom arose the internet and artificial intelligence, and now generative AI, generative artificial intelligence. Said to be the most transformative technology, generative AI. Or some people think it is the most destructive technology ever invented. Two camps in the US, elsewhere also. So the question is as to how this powerful technology, generative artificial intelligence, would affect our system, our dynamic, self-renewing system. Okay. Would this new technology destroy the system that created it? Would generative AI improve us, the system, or it would destroy us? These are two questions being discussed now. I hope you recognize this wonderful lady. Who is she?
Lisa King?
Taylor Swift, right? This was created with artificial intelligence, not by me. I'm using it. But the point is, I was talking about whether new technology would destroy us, we will evolve. And that's what I'm going to discuss. First of all, let's understand in what way the traditional AI is different from generative AI. We have been using AI for a very long time, not you and I. It has been embedded in many of our systems. So generative AI is different. It is not a new model, but totally different. For example, traditional AI mimics human intelligence and performs complex tasks speedily and efficiently. Whatever we do, it does more speedily, efficiently. And also, it understands language, spoken and written, and translates, it can analyze massive amount of data. It can see patterns, and it makes recommendations. And this is what has been used extensively in all the business enterprises. They have been using it in human resources, in marketing, in accounting. We do not know because we don't come in touch with that. For example, Siri and Alexa are founded on AI. Of course, at present, the conversation with Siri or Alexa is very limited because the base is small. I'm going to talk about it later. For example, when you are working on a Word document, it suggests to you the next word. If there's a spelling mistake, it suggests correct spelling, so on and so forth. Based on all the programmed moves and strategies, it can play chess with and play better than most of us can do. So the question is, for example, in 2017, DeepMind, an Alphabet company, introduced AlphaZero, a chess playing game that played chess in a remarkably different way, altogether different way, out of the box. The chess players all over the world were puzzled. Where do these moves come from? When you play chess, some of us play, we have some moves ahead of us, some strategies, 3, 4, 5, 10 at the most. But thinking was totally out of different. I'm talking about this alpha here. We'll keep this in mind. And now, artificial intelligence, the traditional artificial, not the generative, played a very crucial role in the development of COVID-19 vaccine. For example, Moderna used AI to design its mRNA vaccine, which was one of the first vaccines that was approved for use in December 2020. And Moderna platform helped to identify potential vaccine candidates and then selected one or few that were good candidates for development of vaccine. The reason medical research, drug discovery takes such a long time is a method of trial and error. Without AI, they will go on trying and trying, and that's why it takes such a long time, 10 years. The FDA has to approve it. So, but this is what happened, as you know, this happened very shortly. Operation Warp Speed. That was the term coined when Donald Trump, introduced. They said, we are going to discover it. Of course, the credit goes to him because he was the president. But the real credit doesn't go to him. There were many, many scientists working on this vaccine. With the help of AI, they speeded up the discovery and manufacture of a vaccine. Two scientists, mRNA scientists, Drew Weissman and Kathleen Carrico, won the Nobel for Physiology and Medicine this year. The point I'm making is, without AI, it would have taken much longer time and many more people would have died. I'm still talking about traditional AI. It has been there for a very long time. And the first COVID vaccine was developed in less than a year, as I mentioned. Less than a year when the virus was identified. If we had known earlier, when it developed in China, for example, could happen earlier. But this is, as you know, much shorter than normally drug development and distribution takes place. More than that, when the drug was developed, the vaccine was developed, question was how to distribute the logistic part of it. It was not only the USA, but it was a global problem. So AI was used to determine as to how to distribute it. And then, of course, where to produce. It was produced not only in the USA, but Moderna and Pfizer and other companies also in Europe, India, for example. But how do you distribute globally? It was a global problem. So they used AI to devise methods of distribution also. Not only development and clinical trial, but sending vaccine to the right people. So this is what we have to understand. And then, of course, this is traditional AI, and this is the next one. So traditional AI cannot construct something new from the data it analyzes. It follows the script. It cannot create something new from the playbook. The massive amount of data. It feeds on for analysis. For example, AlphaZero, the chess playing game I mentioned, could not have devised a new chess game, a new game. It stayed there. But generative AI is more unique. It's unique because it can create new script from the old one. Earlier technologies improved in the course of time, but they reached their limits, or one might say end states. The printing press, telegraph, telephone, radio, television, for example, could go so far. The telephone combined with the internet gave us the smartphone. But every improvement in smartphone is incremental improvement. A smartphone remains a smartphone. Of these technologies of freedom, the printing press played a very big role in changing European society. It disrupted Europe, it transformed Europe, and eventually led to the Reformation, the Renaissance, and of course, the Enlightenment, the European Enlightenment. Our founding fathers were the children of the European Enlightenment. Despite slavery, without their being well-versed in the European Enlightenment, they wouldn't have created this Constitution, the Bill of Rights. Everything comes from there. Right? We keep in mind that slavery, as horrific it was, but without Enlightenment ideals, they wouldn't have fought slavery. Slavery seemed to be wrong in the course of time because there were ideals from Enlightenment. So the printing press. But the printing press remained the printing. It did not grow, do anything else. So So generative AI is not like any other technology of the past. It is not a new model of AI. It is a breakthrough system that can generate something new out of the information that is already available on the internet, digital libraries, Wikipedia, existing research datasets, audio, video, archives, and other datasets. It's hungry for information. It needs massive amount of data to be trained on. And it keeps on training. So all you need is now to use generative AI is a series of well-designed prompts, few written statements. Even if you have, for example, Chat GPT-4 or Bard or Claude or Bing, for example, just write a few words, it will respond to you. And it began with written statement, written prompts. Now you can speak and it will respond to you in your own language, spoken language. So if you are in France and you want to use own language, you speak in French and Bard, etc., it will translate and you get the answer back in French. Now think about a person living in Kenya, speaking Swahili, right? Now see, a woman, for example, illiterate, not educated, but not stupid at the same time. As I was talking about that a person could be not highly educated, could be very smart, right? So now suppose she has access to a device like smartphone based on generative AI, and she asks questions Swahili, and the system will translate without her knowledge and search all the databases in English, Swahili, other languages, and give her the answer, right? So now imagine, you see, the level of intelligence, education-based intelligence, if technology is democratized, available to all the 8 billion people in the world, the level of intelligence will rise. People will think differently. We don't have to send people to school and all that. It takes a lot of time. That is necessary, of course. But people who cannot go to school in Africa, some parts of Asia, they have very, very easy access to a system that listens to them without judgment. When you make a prompt, written or spoken, answer is there, no judgment, nobody looks at you. And these things are very, very important. Now, here is something it might sound rather silly and rather sacrilegious, but generative AI has some kind of biblical assurance. As Matthew 7:7, you see, it says, ask and it will be given to you. Seek and you will find. Knock and the door will open to you. I'm talking about AI translating. It is a natural language-based system. That's the most important thing. Original AI, traditional AI, needed some knowledge. It couldn't use, you and I couldn't use it. We could use apps. For example, you order a pizza on app, or you make payment. That's a different thing. But we could not interact with it. So this system now makes all of us smart in the sense that we can ask and somebody answers us. You go meet a teacher, you ask a question, he or she might, the way person talks might, belittle you, but not generative AI. And so question is generative AI creative? Is it capable of creative thinking? So instead of thinking about creativity as something, whether a person has it or not, we should think about creativity as range, 1 to onward. All of us are creative. Do you agree? All of us are creative to some extent, but we are not equally creative. Some people become, well, say Sigmund Freud, Albert Einstein, Karl Marx. This is the meaning of range of creativity. These people change our worldview. So we can't say that in the future, generative AI will become something like, will have the creativity of Albert Einstein or Sigmund Freud. But that is open question. So how does creativity happen? I'm trying to answer a question which Jim asked in the beginning. He was quoting Professor Chomsky at Harvard, MIT. And he said it is nothing but plagiarism and all that. But the point is that what is creativity? Mostly, as you see, it is an act of synthesizing existing sources, ideas, and materials, knowledge or data in a different way. The building blocks of creativity are already there. The question is how we put them together. Now, is it plagiarism? If an architect is there, he designs a new house, and he has many models, and keeping those models in mind, he built a new house, right? He's using the existing models, but the house is new, well designed. So, in this sense, creativity is partly what we have already got, and then you build upon it. So the question is, what prompts creativity? You might say, challenge and response, a problem-solving situation, a conundrum. It provokes us to think and makes us creative. Archimedes, the Greek philosopher, mathematician, scientist, physicist, he was given a very serious problem. The king asked him to verify whether the crown he was given as a gift was made of pure gold or silver was mixed with it. He was thinking about, he jumped into his tub, and as he jumped, the water came out, flooded. That gave him an idea. Well, is it possible that different bodies will spill over different quantity of water? Gold has a different density than silver. The point is that he found out what happened when he was in that tub. He just got out and he ran through the streets of Syracuse where he was, just to shout at people and the king, I found it, Eureka, right? This is creativity. But you won't find this kind of creativity from AI, generative AI. It will not jump. It will not shout at you. That we human beings do. So it gives prompt answers because it is already trained on the millions of databases. It knows the word no is not wrong and not correct. It has been trained on data, so it quickly does it. How does it do it? Honestly, not many people know. Even the experts don't know how the black box works. It is inscrutable. Nor do we know how our brain works. The neural network, which is the box, is a kind of abstract of human brain, a smaller version. It has trillions of nodes, but human beings have many more nodes. The connections, neural network. Now you see, before I go further, I want to tell you that human beings have imagination. We dream. We have subconscious. We think different. AI simply is it depends upon computing. We have also computing, but we have much more than that. So as is common sense now, generative AI can create content and show some level of originality at present. But this is the beginning. We do not know how far this will go. Learning from underlying patterns of millions of databases, it generates new information. In short, AI has the capability. Generative AI is capable of learning more and more and improve its function endlessly. The more we use it, the more it learns. So in this sense, it is creative. It creates scenes, audios, videos, text. I'll come to this. It can create article, product description, marketing copy. It can generate music, melodies, harmonies, rhythms, songs, soundtracks, sampled music, everything we have been doing, except it does it more creative, rapidly. So in this, some of you might see the movie Lucas film Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny. AI deepfake technology was used to de-age Harrison Ford, make him look younger by 40 years, so that Harrison could look the same age as he did when he was first played Indiana Jones in the 1980s. So AI can write creative fiction also. It can write novels, perhaps not War and Peace. Could generative AI write a new play from the plots of Shakespeare's tragedies? I'm sure it can. Someday somebody will try. Would it be plagiarism? I do not know. But it can create something new from the existing database. Now, generative AI deepfake technology could create exact paintings of Mona Lisa, as you see in Paris, Louvre Museum, or create different versions of Mona Lisa. Should we do it or not? That's a different question. Exactly. And that creates problem. How to distinguish between original and what is it? Not the fake, but the recreated one, which exactly the same. The possibilities are endless. The possibilities are endless. Mustafa Suleyman is the co-founder of DeepMind, a British-American alphabet Google company. He says we would have our own AI-powered chief of staff over the next 5 years. So what does a chief of staff do for a CEO of a company, president of a company? Everything. An AI personalized virtual assistant or chief of staff would learn about your individual preferences, license likes, everything. But still will be obedient to you. And then, for example, you're going to Paris or London for a business conference, it will make all arrangements without your knowledge. Flights, cab drive, automatic cab drive, and then entertainment program for you. But if you are doing a business proposition there, it will help you to negotiate. But it is not a personal secretary. It is a chief of staff. Chief of staff does everything. Now imagine, this is not speculation. Even Bill Gates later on said, yes, within 5 years we'll have chief of staff, all of us. Now imagine that students having a personal tutor, every student having a personal tutor. All students are not equal. Some learn faster than others. And a lot of time is spent on lifting the kids who fall behind, remedial learning. So with AI tutor, personalized tutor, for me, for you, individually, based upon a kid's learning abilities, it will hasten up the learning process. That is a possibility, a future. In fact, it is not simply taught. Many campuses and education experts are trying this. In the beginning, when AI appeared, generative AI appeared, many were worried about students will write, they will ask AI to write their essays and answers. That fear is still there. But the most important thing is education can be individualized. And it's possible instead of 4 years, we could finish the work in 3 years. Learning could be hastened. A study by Rand Corporation reported that tele-mental health services jumped tenfold during the pandemic. And if mental health patients felt comfortable in talking to their doctors online, they might also feel comfortable in dealing with AI-based, not apps, but AI-based mental therapists. Let me show you this next one. This is a very serious problem. Mental health is a serious problem. 1 out of 5 Americans have some mental health issue. According to CDC, AI can be used by psychiatrists to develop new and innovative therapy methods, including personalized treatment plans for individual patients. I'm emphasizing the word individualized, individual coaching, individual therapy. People who have this problem, they feel isolated. They don't want to talk. They don't want to lie on the couch. For example, Wobot is a chatbot that provides cognitive behavior therapy to users. It has been shown to be effective in reducing symptoms of depression and anxiety. Ellie is another virtual therapist that was developed by the University of Southern California. It is designed to help patients with a variety of mental health issues: anxiety, depression, post-traumatic stress disorder. This is the beginning. We have just started it. So, incredibly promising and versatile. Generative AI also poses serious threats if not properly trained and supervised. AI can perpetuate biases that are present in the data. This could lead to the generation of biased and offensive content, reinforcing existing problems, prejudices, bias. AI could create highly convincing fake images. Now see, the pontiff, the Pope, this artificial created. He could also speak. Artificial intelligence could give him language which is exactly his. And he might say something which he never meant. Voice can be cloned, images can be cloned, exactly. So, fake images, as you saw in Harrison Ford also, this of course lead to false information. Difficult to distinguish between the real and the fake. As I said, if Mona Lisa could be recreated exactly as it is, what value we should put on the fake one, the real one? And there's no value, of course. So fake images of people, of course, could be exploited by bad people. That we have to keep in mind. Here again, AI could be used to create counterfeit documents. A man is dead and family gets together to read the will, real will. And somebody comes up again with another will with same signature, everything same, except the names of heirs are different. Generative AI could lead to the loss of jobs. Especially in industries that rely heavily on content creation, such as writing, design, art. For example, generative AI could do most of the work being done in Hollywood. Everything, almost everything. After 148 days of strike, Hollywood writers reached an agreement that would put safeguards against generative AI encroaching upon their work. So, safeguards, guardrails have been placed, which means the writing class, the writers will have their job for some time. Eventually, Hollywood will change. Slowly and gradually, artificial intelligence written products will come there and studios will use it. Here's an example. Take the case of a daytime soap opera, some of you might watch, General Hospital. General Hospital has been there for 60 years, 5 days a week, 52 episodes a year, 60 years, come to 30,000 episodes. And there are many more other dramas. So if we train AI, generative AI, on this vast data of episodes, then we ask generative AI to create a new episode. It won't be difficult at all. The next week episode, because every day, will be similar, better than the previous one. Yeah? That is the threat to the writing class, creative class. Along with this, as writers were struggling with their situation, for them it was an existential threat. Similarly, actors too were on strike to protect themselves. Now you see, an AI-generated image of an actor could be used for making more movies. You can do away with the existing actors, smaller ones, not the big one, and make movies. Right? For example, you saw Harrison Ford. After his death, his image will be there, his clips will be there, his movies will be there. Based upon those movies and clips and his voice, everything could be cloned, and a studio could make a movie altogether from his existing database. So he will never be dead. And that was the greatest fear. And so Actors Union reached an agreement they were assured that without their permission, their images, their work will not be copied or used again. But again, I said, this is only a temporary relief. Things are going to change. Also, question of copyright comes up. Copyright, intellectual property is a very, very complex issue. And it will become more complex. Determining ownership and authorship of AI-generated work might be challenging. It's very difficult because it's not plagiarizing anything. When a system is trained on millions and millions of files and databases, it's difficult to assign that this is copied from here. So we can say it's plagiarism, but it can't be a plagiarism. Plagiarism, you just pick up something which is already there. And so people still believe that intellectual property right is important. And of course, as I mentioned to Jim earlier, Sarah Silverman, she's a comedian, as you know. She and other people have filed a suit against Batra and other companies that their books and their works have been plagiarized. It's going to be a big challenge. It's the first time that courts will decide whether they can determine that their work has been appropriated without their permission. It's going to be very difficult. So the question is, are these threats new? These threats have been there for a very, very long time. Since the beginning of early stages of the social media, social media began, even before that, all these problems were there. But now the problems have risen to a more serious level. And that is one of the biggest challenges we have to face. Question, can we trust AI? Of course, AI hallucinates sometimes. Sometimes it doesn't give you correct answer. It makes up data. So if you use it, you have to be careful, verify at present. Now, experts say that things are getting better. Another point is, as we discussed briefly, we do not know how it works, the black box. You ask a question, you have prompt, you get answer. But what happens? How quickly does it do? The neural network is not transparent. It's not obvious to anybody. It is inscrutable, invisible. It's not you and I. Even those people who create, they don't know how it works. Also, these systems do not inherently possess ethical or moral standards. So, while making decisions unintentionally, a system might create harm, especially when there's a question of selection, hiring and firing. The police people looking at people through AI. AI might predetermine basis that some people look like criminals. Even today, the problem is there. AI systems today are not explicitly aligned with our values. So the risk is there. And this creates a feeling of powerlessness. When we can't control things, it creates a feeling of powerlessness. And that creates distrust, especially when we can't override a decision taken by AI. Building trust, of course, will take some time. It's a combination of technical advancements, responsible AI development practices, increase awareness and education about AI's capabilities and limitations. As I said, this is a beginning. Now think about the marketplace. If these companies want to make money, they have to create a system or systems that people can trust. That is the hope, that whether it is OpenAI, whether it's Microsoft, or whether it's Google, they are in the marketplace, they are in competition. Could AI become autonomous and self-aware? This is the biggest challenge. At present, as I mentioned, that AI systems are trained on databases. If they're not trained, they are, passive. But what if AI system begins to collect data on its own? For example, we use apps to do things, as I mentioned earlier, making payment, ordering pizza, ordering, ride share, whatever you have. And then, of course, when we have pizza, we stop. But if AI has the capability of using the apps on its own, then it will keep on learning and learning, exponentially. We stop after ordering payment through PayPal or whatever. It will not stop. It will keep learning. And then in the course of time, it will develop capabilities, which are far superior to human beings. And this is what they call as general intelligence. Not generative AI, but artificial general intelligence is also called singularity. And Sam Altman, who developed this OpenAI and ChatGPT, other people are talking about that within 5 years we will have artificial general intelligence superior to mankind, human beings' intelligence. So the question being asked now is, could we pull out the plug on it? Could we control it? And that brings me to a serious problem. What about automated weapons? Today, all war weapons, aeroplanes, rockets, missiles, use AI for targeting. But they're not autonomous. They're under the control of human beings. What if in the future they begin to target their own objects or things or people on their own? They'll be out of control. This is the biggest fear. And Henry Kissinger and Eric Schmidt of Google, they wrote a book also. They have written several articles in Wall Street Journal that this is not an American problem. We must get together with China and other countries to have similar controls, similar to the controls we have established over nuclear energy, nuclear weapons. This is a serious problem. Here's the conundrum. In spite of serious, widespread fears, the promises of generative AI is so immense that no one wants to be left behind. This is what we call as the trust paradox. You don't trust a system, you don't trust a technology, still use it. Nobody has stopped using generative AI, in spite of the fears. Why? Because we perceive that the benefits are so large, the risks are manageable. That is what is the meaning of the trust paradox. Now, a very well-known company, consulting company, McKinsey and Company, said that AI would add $4 trillion to global economy. And this figure has been given by other companies. And some estimates that this year alone, by the end of this year, $20 billion would be invested in generative AI. That's the promise. Dangers on one side, and the promises, the hopes. We take risks. Human being takes risk in spite of this. But the McKinsey report warns that we have to rethink about the business processes. A business consists of certain processes, accounting, human resources, marketing, all these are processes. They will change. And when they change, then we have to retrain people, we have to reskill people, we have to upskill people. And that will take some time. Leadership is slow process. Another question is this. We have been used to what is called 40-hour, 5-day industrial area work. Why 40-hour, 5-day work? Why 5 to 9 day? Dolly Parton song, remember that? 5 to 9. Why?
9 to 5. 9 to 5.
9 to 5, sorry. This is because in 1926, the Ford Motor Company started this, 40-hour, 5-day week. And then Labor Department later on rationalized it and made it kind of law, something like 40 hours. But why now? With this AI, generative AI, it is possible to reduce the 40-hour, 7-day work to, say, 30-hour, 4-day work, less. And we have seen it. During the pandemic, work became hybrid. Again, I'm talking about 40-hour, 5-day work week. Now think about the universities and colleges. Why do we have 15-week semester, 10-week quarter? Why do we have this system of Monday, Wednesday, Friday, Tuesday, Thursday? Why? Nobody asked this question. But now with this AI being there, available to everyone, and personalized tutor, the possibility. Who might think, why not do something else? Can students learn something on their own and then come to the college and do things? So generative AI is unstoppable. The rush for gold mine, in spite of the dangers, as I mentioned, has also created a sense of urgency to build legal, ethical, and technological guardrails, so that society benefits from this new technology without hurting itself. In May 2023, 350 people, AI experts and public leaders, expressed their concern about AI risk and issued a very brief statement. And let me see, out of control. And they issued a statement. They said, mitigating the risk of extinction from AI should be a global priority alongside other societal risks, such as pandemic and nuclear war. They are comparing generative AI with pandemics and nuclear war. This is what I call dystopian fear, irrational fear. But it has given the message to us. And people have taken this warning very serious. For example, in June this year, European Union passed what is called the AI Act, European AI Act. And it sets a priority. Its priority is to make sure, and I'm quoting, that AI systems used in the EU are safe, transparent, traceable, non-discriminatory, environmentally friendly. AI system should be overseen by the people rather than by automation to prevent harmful outcomes. This is now the act, as you know, it will be ratified, approved by all the states, all the countries in the European Union. They'll become law and they'll enforce it. Now, what happened in Europe has been happening in USA also. And throughout the year, people have been talking about it. There have been many conferences. For example, in July, the White House met several AI experts and they came to an agreement, understanding that AI does need control. In September again, Senator Chuck Schumer held a bipartisan meeting with experts from the Silicon Valley. And they all agreed that out of control, AI will hurt everybody. And in order to have the best benefit from this technology, we need control. Based upon this continuous dialogue, on October 30th, President Biden issued a very sweeping, comprehensive executive order on artificial intelligence regarding safety assessment of safety, guidance on civil rights, research on labor market impact, innovation and competition, and global leadership. Briefly, it is a long document, 117-page document. Along with this, the White House also issued fact sheet, brief summary. According to the fact sheet, the companies must inform the government before training AI model that could pose a significant threat to national security, economy, or public health. Nothing of this kind has been done ever before. Government asking company, show us what you're doing. And then, additionally, they must share the result of tests. They called it red test, to ensure that AI systems are safe, reliable, before they are released to public. White House has seldom exercised this kind of power, except in 1950, that Defense Production Act. And this order is based upon the act, the Korean War. Again, to prevent the use of AI, I'm talking about the fact sheet, the order, executive order, creating dangerous, now about the biological. Remember, I mentioned earlier that people still think that COVID virus originated from one lab in China. Some people still think it happened like this. So keeping that in mind, the order says that AI for creating dangerous biological material, to prevent that kind of thing, new and stricter standard for screening of biological synthesis system should be established. The screening of these biological systems, artificially made, should be done on a very serious level. And the government should be informed. The government is getting involved in AI, the federal government. When social media systems were developed, Google, Amazon, whatever, government never interfered. But now government is there because it is really, can be dangerous, but also it's tremendously powerful, would revolutionize our society. Something extraordinary. Remember I talked about the inflow of brain power. There is a special clause there. It says that the government will make it easier for foreign experts, to come here, study and do research in AI and other technical, extremely important technical fields. That means visa processing and staying and other things will be speeded up, streamlined. By making, this is what I'm saying, by making it easier for foreign experts to come to the USA, the government can help to ensure that the country has the talent it needs to succeed in the global economy. Point is that there is going to be a tremendous shortage of AI experts in the future, and we cannot do without it. Now think about our immigration policy. On one hand, we are trying to stop people coming from the southern border, right? Whatever we want. Trump and Biden have different approaches, but the idea is the same. Stop people coming illegally. But in this case, they have opened the door for people to come. There's no mention of Chinese or Muslims or anybody coming here. If you are an expert, welcome. The door is open. Now, similar to the EU, European Union Act, and Biden's executive order, early November, on 3rd November and 4th November, 28 countries met in London for a conference to discuss how to handle this technology. And they came to the conclusion that safeguard must be established. The recommendations were similar to what the Biden order did and what EU AI Act does. So the point I'm making is, it is not limited to only EU, European Union, or USA. The concern is global. So with these guards, rail guards, I'm not rail guard, but safeguards firmly in place, the risk of AI getting out of control are minimal, not absent. Under this protective umbrella, I believe our freedoms will be enhanced. AI will unleash groundbreaking innovation, aid in resolving some of our serious problems, humanity's serious problems, healthcare, climate change, poverty, crime, beyond. Think about if COVID vaccine could be developed in a short time. It is possible to have, to fight cancer. It has taken such a long time. Cancer, Alzheimer's, Parkinson's, serious disease. It's doable, possible. If we have done one thing correctly, speedily, COVID vaccine, we can do other things also. And this is how an open dynamic system based on freedom triangulated with the marketplace and inflow of brain power. This is how a system is responding to the challenge. Remember, challenge of the most transformative technology ever developed. The system. I'd like you to think about a person like Elon Musk. All of you know Elon Musk, right? Elon Musk wouldn't have been Elon Musk without the system, the USA. If he had stayed back in South Africa, that's the place he came from, he would have been an unknown person, not much. The system created Elon Musk. The system created Nikki Haley, Kamala Harris, other people. So this is what I have been talking about. The system. The system creates technology. Technology then absorbs it, it grows. So I have a couple of questions for you. Would AI help to reset our polarized democratic system? Second question is this. Do we need AI superintelligence? So I'm open to questions. Let me see if I can answer. I will try my best. As I said, I'm an explorer, not so much a scholar. Yes.
How do we control something that we don't understand? This black box you talk about, the algorithms that people who create these things don't understand how the output is coming from the input. How do we control something like that?
We can't control the black box as we can't control our brain, human brain. Do we know how my mind works, your mind works? We don't know. But still we work. So it's difficult to answer how we understand. What we know is that we don't understand. Still it works. What they are doing is to train the system on larger basis of data. And what? Now, earlier I said hallucination. Systems hallucinate, give wrong information. Now they are working on it, that this will be less and less possible. But still they won't understand how this happened. Now, databases have no ethical inputs. So in the future, when they improve upon, train the system again, they would put inputs that these things are not to be done. For example, if today you go to ChatGPT 4 or Bard or Claude or other thing and ask, tell me how to rob a bank. And it will say, I'm sorry, I can't tell you that. But it has been trained to say, no, I cannot do that. I have tried all the four systems.
Who are the theys you talk about?
Pardon?
You say they are going to train.
They mean
Who's
the
they?
companies, the companies. The
company. Mean the people in the company.
People in the company, experts. For example, OpenAI owned, Sam Altman is the chairperson now. He's his own.
And so we have to trust them.
Yes.
Right.
Before I say, we trust them because according to the executive order I mentioned to you, these companies must tell the government what they're doing. They must have the approval. This is something extraordinary. No such order has ever given it. So if you think something is wrong and you complain, somebody will listen to you, right? And now it is, there's no foolproof system. There's no foolproof system. Things can get out of control. Yes. Have I answered your question to some extent?
Yes, you have, but I see tremendous possibilities, but I see so many ways for this to go
Wrong.
off the rails.
That is true. Yes, true.
We've been talking about good people. What about the bad actors?
Yes.
We have no control over that at all. Beside the fact that even the bad actors don't know what's going on in this black box.
Yes. Yes.
The genie's out of the bottle. I mean, we have to deal with it somehow. I just don't know how we deal with it.
Control.
Well, I mean, I look back at the atomic bomb, nuclear energy, all of that stuff. The only thing in my mind that saved us from destruction was the concept of mutually assured destruction.
And that was an agreement between Soviet
It
Union.
was a practical thing. If I shoot this at you, you're gonna come back at me and I'm gonna be in as bad a boat as you are. And I don't wanna think in those terms as far as this is concerned.
And this is what going to happen, because it affects everybody. All the 28 nations got together in London. They agreed the same issues as USA and Europe have been discussing. It's also in the interest of China, because they have a huge market. See, nuclear power was different because it was destructive. Not many people individually could use nuclear power. We have to,
Well, the power of nuclear technology.
it's a massive requirement. But you're right, this is very easy to use. It's easy to abuse. So we have to have more rules and regulations. This is the beginning one. Yes, please.
I was gonna say, how does law enforcement play into this? Like, can I make a police report about any violations on my computer that I run across, or how involved do they want to get?
The police in law and order situation, you might say, or
If I have a violation on my computer and it's serious, can I call the police about it? Are they gonna respond to that, or do they just have all the
suppose you are being blackmailed,
Yeah, true.
then it's a but in that case you can inform, and they will, if you give them access to your computer, then of course they will look into your computer.
Okay.
Yeah,
Thank you.
a computer, your personal computer is like home now. If somebody breaks into your home, it's a crime. Suppose somebody violates your cell phone, it's the same thing as computer. It is a crime, you can report. Whether police can help or not, that's a different thing. It's a complex thing. Yes, yes. I'm sorry.
I'd like to go back to the early days. You talked about guardrails being built by companies. And I, last Christmas, asked ChatGPT to write me a love sonnet in the manner of Elizabeth Barrett Browning.
Yes.
Which it did immediately. So now, feeling imbued by success, I asked ChatGPT to write a real estate ad for Trump Tower in New York City. It wouldn't do it.
No, because Trump Tower is involved now fraud.
Right, sure. So
So
anyway,
now the system is being trained to say no. What you tried GPT-4, right?
this is ChatGPT. So yeah.
Now try again Bard. Let's go home, Bard and Bing, and see what this system says. And Trump, of course, Trump Tower is a very serious problem. Now see accounting. And they say we don't know. We paid millions of dollars to our accounting companies, and they know it. But what if this accounting companies are replaced by AI companies, accounting companies? Then who is responsible?
Right.
In the future, we don't know. So there is no answer to all the questions which might arise in the future. As we go along, we'll find answers. That's why human beings are more creative. As I mentioned, human beings have imagination. Computer will never have imagination. Yeah, just somebody else. Yeah.
Once the genie is out of the bottle, how do we get it back in? In other words, these rules that we have, how AI is going to be used and developed, the one who violates that, I mean, it's like the rule on genetic research with human beings and not being able to tamper with the human genome, but yet researchers did that. And if they do that with AI somewhere in the world, how do we stop AI once it recognizes its potential?
First thing is, if AI can create a problem, any problem, we can also train AI to solve that problem.
Generative AI.
Yes. You see, if a threat is, for example, we find that Russians are using AI to interfere in our elections, as they try to do what they did in 2016, right? We can also train AI models to fight back interference coming from China or Russia. Can be done. So instead of asking questions, instead of being afraid of the system, as you mentioned, why don't we ask this question? How can I use AI to solve this problem, that problem? Yes, sir.
I was just, you spoke about the election. I think in the upcoming election, we are going to have no way of knowing whether an ad
Yeah, is it?
is AI generated or human generated.
Yeah.
And do you think there's any way that the government or the parties can mandate that they will not put out ads unless they're generated by humans?
Yeah. That is why in the, I forgot to mention this thing, it's a very important question. In the document, in the executive order, there's a provision that all official documents will be authenticated with the watermarks or something like that. And if government documents will be authenticated, companies might also say, like, we are going to assure you that this is AI generated, not human generated. That's what happened.
But it isn't happening yet.
It's not happening now. Now, the question is, this kind of problem is not only for Democrats, it's also for Republicans. If both the parties suffer from this kind of technology, they will come to an understanding, look, this is how we deal with the problem. That is authenticate. Now, for example, there's an ad, commercial, it says, I'm responsible for this. This is the ad, I'm Andy Batra, and I am responsible for this. So the authentication. Similar authentication could take place in the future also. Elections are very, very important to us, and they affect everybody. Okay? And so this is my answer for the time being. Time, I don't know. We'll see. What I'm saying is, as problems arise, we can solve them. Yeah.
AI doesn't give much attention to our artificial borders of the world, the country borders. How does the world come together to optimize the AI situation? And how would it be enforced? Is the UN involved? Could it be? Should it be? I'm thinking about how the nuclear non-proliferation agreement was developed.
Yeah, this was a question we were discussing in London. 28 nations got together. UN doesn't have any enforcement power. You know, it is voluntary. Human rights are voluntary, everything. So if there's agreement, then mutual consent and mutual agreement, they will follow in each other's interest. There's no enforcement. If AI is dangerous to every country, then the country will get together to solve the problem. Now, it's different from climate change. Right? It's not like climate change is so widespread and so it's difficult to talk about it because now no one country is contributing to climate disaster, right? Every country is doing more or less. But AI will have immediate impact. So they will have to take immediate action. As I mentioned, AI companies, they want to make money, they may want to make profit. They will eventually be interested in making the system safe. Mostly the American companies, but other companies in Europe and Asia will arise, and there will be some understanding and some kind of a system of controlling it. It can be controlled.
I told you, Narain was an eternal optimist.
I believe that, first of all, we have no choice.
Yeah.
Can you shut the door on AI, generative AI? We cannot do that.
You pull the plug, like you mentioned.
Where's the plug?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I don't know.
exactly.
Yeah.
Nobody knows that.
Yeah.
And when you figure it out, they'll think something else.
So my suggestion to you is keep using. Use more and more, learn more, and see how dangerous it is.
Oh, one other comment, David Brooks, who's somebody I admire tremendously,
Yeah.
has written several very good op-eds in the New York Times, which you can
Yeah.
go to, and he talks all about the humanness that we need.
Yes.
So,
Yes,
The Atlantic has one, why are we so mean?
yeah.
yes.
Yeah, that's very.
When did we become mean? I don't understand. What date? Was there a time when Americans were never mean?
No. But
Was there a time when there were no crises in America? Look at the history of America, crisis and crisis.
oh, yeah, yeah.
Anything else? Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Narain, go back to that slide with Harrison Ford.
Good question.
Yeah, boy.
I'm here to learn
Uh-huh.
because
Um,
I just feel like there's so much room for
Yeah.
What do you think?
manipulation of data.
You're saying that is